Hi guys, welcome to my channel and to my video on collecting World of Warcraft mounts. This will be a fairly in-depth guide, starting from the very basics to the more complicated mounts to collect in World of Warcraft. I don't have all of the mounts myself, and a lot of them are quite difficult to get, but if I don't have them or I can't get them, I will certainly explain to you how you can get them. Going through this process, you will get a lot of achievements. Obviously you'll get the mount related achievements in terms like mountain amounts and stuff like that. You'll also get a lot of achievements with regards to reputation and glory of the Ice Crown Raider, stuff like that, you know, them sort of achievements. A few things I'm not going to cover in this guide, just in case you are wondering. I will obviously not cover mounts that are no longer obtainable, because there is no point. I will not be covering purchasable mounts or trading card game mounts, refer a friend mounts, and there will be certain achievement based mounts or group based mounts that are just going to take way too long to be included in this video, and I will certainly tell you where they are, but I will probably have to do them as separate videos. And there are some that I'm just not going to do full stop because they take ages, and that would be the Violet Proto Drake, for example. I think it takes like a whole year, and there's a lot that are based on rare spawns and rare drops. So I can show you where they spawn and where they drop, but whether we get them or not is another story. So this guide really going to focus mainly on mounts that are obtainable in a solo environment. At the time I'm filming this, we're sort of at the end of Mists of Pandaria, and we're just waiting for Warlords of Draenor now. So everyone's got a lot of spare time on their hands, obviously, and so yeah, so it's something to do, it's something fun to do on your own whilst you've got some downtime from raiding or whatever, PvP. So just a few little pointers before we get started. Firstly, I'm doing this as a Horde character. I've got a couple of other characters that I might jump on for certain bits, but they are all Horde. So obviously there's a lot of faction specific mounts, and I will only be showing you the Horde ones. Every Horde mount has an Alliance equivalent, and as far as I can remember, none of the faction specific ones are that tricky to get. They're all reputation based, so if I'm showing you reputation with trolls, you just need to get reputation with dwarfs or something like that. So they're fairly interchangeable. Obviously I'm doing this on level 90 characters with not amazing gear, but sort of at the very minimum looking for raid level gear, so sort of like 500, 522, something like that. The only reason really you need this because some of the mounts are in sort of level 80 or level 85 heroics and stuff like that, so it's just a little bit easier on everyone if you're level 90. I would say that a tip before you get started is, if you're going to do this on a specific character, make it one that has a lot of speed boosts. If you've got engineering, put your rocket boosters on. In terms of talents, pick any talents that increase your run speed or movement speed. And I like to do a lot of it on my monk, just because they've got ridiculous amount of movement speed increases. Because you do certain dungeons, you will just be rinsing them, and if you are running along at a snail's pace, you will get bored very quickly. There are obviously a lot of mounts in this game, so I'm going to break it down and do a video on the sort of vanilla section, the original WoW mounts, and then move on to Burning Crusade, Wrath of Lich King, Cataclysm, and lastly Mists of Pandaria. So with that said, let's just get cracking. Here we go. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with the Horde faction, the basic faction mounts. So first of all, we'll start with the Orcs. With these, you need to be exalted with the different factions. Now that used to mean running around and doing a million quests trying to find low level quests everywhere around Azeroth, and it was a big pain in the arse. But thankfully now they have implemented some tabards that you can wear and run dungeons, and that will build you some rep. So if you haven't got flying mount, you can just jump in this little tunnel thing and fly up here. Although if you haven't got flying mount, you probably shouldn't be doing this just yet, to be honest. Come to these guys here, and you have one for the Darkspear Trolls, one for the Orcs, and one for the Goblins. And if you look, each one will sell a tabard, which will increase your reputation whilst running dungeons. So if you haven't already got exalted with them guys, you want to go and buy one of each of those, because whilst you're farming everything else, you might as well be having one of these equipped and build up your reputation, which will then allow you to obviously go and buy the faction mounts. So starting with the Orcs, the actual vendor for the mounts is over here in the Valley of Honor, just here near the training dummies, and he just marches sort of back and forth along here, and he's the Kennel Master. So if you just speak to him, so once you're exalted with the Orgrimmar, you can buy these 7 wolf mounts. Next we'll look at the Darkspear Trolls, so we'll be right back with that one. Okay, so here we are, we're just approaching Senjin village, which is where you will find the mounts for the trolls. Again, obviously you need to have your reputation up with these guys. If you haven't, go and buy the tabards at the vendors I showed you earlier, and then just come back to these guys later on once you've got your exalted reputation. And it's this chap here that you want to speak to, and again he will sell you 6 raptors, so that's another 6 done, nice and easy. And that's just there on the map for anyone. I'm sure everyone knows this Senjin village from questing. Next we'll head over to Thunderbluff. Okay, so here we are in Bloodhoof Village. I know I said Thunderbluff, but it's actually Bloodhoof Village now, which is just south of Thunderbluff. And there is now a Flight Master there, which is quite handy. And the guy you're looking for is the Harb Clawhoof here. And as long as you're, again, exalted, or if you're a Tauren to start with, you got another 6 mounts there, relatively cheap, quick easy learns. Oh, I haven't got one there. Don't know why I haven't got these. So yeah, so that's them, and next we'll move on to the undead mounts. So we'll just jump to that. It's also just worth adding that if you haven't already, you probably have, but it's worth putting your Hearthstone to the Shrine of the Two Moons, is it, I think? Just because obviously upstairs you have the portals to all the different capital cities. Just makes life a lot easier when you're running around to and from different places. One other thing I didn't mention before as well is that class mounts. Now, it used to be that you had certain quests that you had to do, which I think it's a shame really that they took the quests and just gave you the mounts, because I remember spending quite a lot of time trying to get my charger for my paladin back in the day, and it was a real sense of achievement actually getting it, and I was quite proud to run around on it. But now if you're a paladin, or if you're a warlock or a death knight, you just get given them when you hit the right level, which I think I'm right in saying is level 20. You just learn them as a spell. So yeah, we won't be covering those because they're not ones that if you're not a paladin, warlock or death knight, you're not going to get them. So just thought I'd add that. Okay, so here we are for the undead mounts, and we are in a little town called Brill. which is the sort of first little town for undeads, which is just north of Undercity. And the guys you're looking for are lined up here. They've moved from the original Brill, and they're now standing here. And it's this little chappie here that you want to talk to, Zachariah Post, and he has 7 quite awesome looking mounts. Well, the epic ones are anyway, I think. Some of the nicest ground mounts in the game, in my opinion. So next we'll jump on over to the Blood Elves, which unfortunately you can't fly in that zone for some reason, so we'll have to mount up the old-fashioned way. So we'll just jump over to that now. Just remembered, worth mentioning, there is actually, for anyone who doesn't know, when you first come into Undercity and before you actually enter the city itself, just when you walk through the first gate, if you turn right, there's an orb that you can click here, and this will take you straight to Silvermoon City. So that's just saves a lot of running around. That's just on the, you're still sort of outside, you haven't actually gone down into Undercity, so that just saves you a few minutes of running around. If you don't already have Silvermoon reputation, that's the Blood Elves reputation, there's a vendor here which is just next to the Flight Master right outside Silvermoon City, and he will sell you the tabard for the reputation grind for the Blood Elves. The actual vendor, I believe, is the other side of this. I did forget to point out where the vendor was for the undead tabard, so I'll go back to that at some point. But I just have to remember where the Hawkstrider guy is. Is he up here? Yes. Okay, so this is the guy here. So just to show you on the map, this little temple thing. And he will sell you the Hawkstriders. I'm not sure why I don't have any of these, because this character was originally a Blood Elf. I changed it. So I guess I got rid of them all. Okay, so I think that's it for the faction mounts, for the original faction mounts. Okay, so just as I mentioned earlier, I'm just showing you now where the Undercity tabard vendor is, and he's just next to the bat handler in Undercity, which is just there. So you can buy that from him if you need to get your Undercity rep up. Okay guys, we're back in Orgrimmar briefly because I realised I'd completely skipped pandas and goblins. So this is a good opportunity really, because I haven't actually got my reputation with the pandas. So this little chappie here, Disciple Juicy, will give you the tabard. So I shall just buy one of those and equip it now. And if you have got your reputation already, the vendor is this panda here, Turtle Master Odie. So she will sell you the very snazzy looking turtles that you can see over there. Can't remember off the top of my head how many there are of them. I think it's only like 4, I think. Might be wrong. So yeah, so we've equipped that tabard, ruining our transmog, but hopefully in the runs that we do in dungeons that should get our reputation up. For goblins, you need to come over here, I think, and there is a vendor somewhere. Just have a little snoop around. Ah, there we go. Okay, so this chap here, Cal Warthanton, the trike dealer, so he'll sell you these rather shit looking mounts if you ask me, but they add to the numbers, so you can get some mounts there. Also in Orgrimmar you can get the basic flying mounts, which are the Wind Riders, and they are sold just here next to these Quartermasters and the Flight Master. It's not him, it's this guy here, Drachma, and he will sell you 7 mounts. Just check I've got them all. Yeah, 7 mounts there, and they're just the basic, you know, the sort of these little winged lions. So yeah, that should be all of the basic faction mounts now. I forgot about the 2 new races. So that's them done. So I'm just going to go to Strathome now. I'm going to jump on my monk for that because, as I said before, it's just a lot quicker running around the instances with a monk than any other class. So we'll go there now. Okay, so here we are in the Eastern Plaguelands, which is sort of northeast of Undercity. And I've just come here because I know for some of the newer players, when you join groups using the looking for group dungeon finder, just teleports you straight to the dungeon, so you've probably never actually gone there manually. This is where it is. Now for the mount we're after is the Reigns of the Death Charger, which come from Baron Rivendare. And he's not actually in the main Strathome. If you go in there, you won't find him. He's in this little side entrance here called the East Wall Gate. It is still part of Strathome instance, but like a different wing, if you like, and you can't access it from... Can you access? I think you can actually, but you have to actually clear it. So it's easier just to come straight over here to the East Wall Gate and enter that way. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of dungeon running in this video, so I'm just going to stop talking and sort of high speed run through it. But I think it's worth doing, especially for some of them like this one, because you can't actually get to the boss unless you kill all the mini bosses and whatnot. So I'll probably just play some silly music whilst running through it at ridiculously high speed. So here we go. Okay, so here we are at Rivendare. This is the boss that drops them out. It's just worth noting at this point that these 3 bosses here all stand and guard a little room, which you will have seen me go in and clear. It does just seem like there's just trash in the rooms, but you do need to clear them because otherwise he won't unlock. Also worth noting that when you first enter the instance down here, there is a boss who runs off. If you will, like me, zoom across that room and kill him first, it means he won't appear later on here, and that's Magistrate Bartholus. So if he's missing from there, it's probably because you killed him here. If you didn't kill him here, you need to kill him there, and then you'll eventually get through to this boss. So here we go, let's see if it drops. And no. There's an epic sword that drops from this guy as well, which is pretty nice if you're into your transmogging and that sort of thing. So that's it for this place. Here we are now in the south of Silithus, which is just over here. and this is the entrance to the Temple of Anchorage. And to get to the entrance, you can see there's clearly little roads up here. One's the Temple of Anchorage and one's the Ruins of Anchorage. I think both, I think there's 3 or 4 different mounts that drop in here, and they drop from both. I will confirm that, but pretty sure I'm right. So it doesn't really matter which one you go in. I like this one just because I'm more familiar with it. And yeah, so we'll do a little speedy run through this, and I'll stop when I find a mount. Okay, so this just goes to show you how easy they are to drop. So all I've done is I've just run into the first pack of mobs, and 2 of the yellow crystals have dropped. There's like yellow, blue, red and green or something like that. So really doesn't take much doing to get those. Okay, so we've just got ourselves also the red crystal and the blue crystal. So I think the only one that hasn't dropped at the moment is the green. And just having done this, it seems that these guys, the defenders, drop it more than anything else. So considering the next time you encounter them after the mobs at the start is sort of pretty much at the end of the instance, I would say the best bet is to get into the instance, kill the ones at the start, go out, reset it, go back in again, and just make sure you don't kill the first boss, and then just keep doing the trash at the start and you'll get them in no time, rather than coming all the way down here, because that's a bit of a waste of time, innit? Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is the Onguru Crater mount, which is a raptor, so we're going to have a look at that next. Okay, so heading to the Onguru Crater for the Ravasor mount. There are 2 faster ways to get to the south of Kalimdor. One is the portal to Oldham, which I don't actually have on this character, but there's a portal there to Oldham that takes you fairly close to both AQ and Onguru Crater. The other option, if you don't have that portal, as this was my free level 90 boost character, within Dalaran in Citadel there is a portal to the Caverns of Time, which is in Tanaris. Okay, so here we are in the Onguru Crater, and as you can see we're just near the entrance from Tanaris, this little road going down here, and you'll find this troll running around. He's just the opposite side from the sort of starter quest when you enter Onguru Crater, just the other side of the little stream. And so if we click him, he will give us a quest called Toxic Tolerance, and what this quest does is it requires you to go and attack certain Ravasors who are just over there, and they will poison you when they'll bite you, I think, and they'll give you a poison, and you need to get 20 stacks of that poison. Obviously if you're doing this level 90 you might want to take your weapons off, because otherwise you'll just one-shot everything and you need it to actually bite you. So we'll just go ahead and accept that and head over. It's going to be a little bit tricky as a monk because I actually need my weapons, so yeah, I might just just take all my weapons off, all my equipment. Hold on. Okay, so just had to go and empty my bags to make a little bit of space, and what I've done is I've just taken all my gear off, apart from my necklace for some reason. Now the mobs we're looking for are these, the Venomhide Ravasors, not to be confused with the other ones that are around. And what you need to do is just engage with them. Preferably don't hit them too hard. As you can see, having taken my gear off, that's significantly reduced the amount of damage I do. And then you just need to really wait until they hit you and you get a poison. It will come up when you do it, will come up because the quest tracker will tell you that you've achieved one of the objectives. Okay, so I've just discovered that just standing there and letting them attack you is not good enough. That won't get you the poisons. What you need to do is you need to actually be hitting them. So yeah, take off all your weapons, so you're doing as little damage as possible, and then just auto attack them. Just punch them basically, and that will give you the debuff. If you just stand there AFK and not doing anything, apparently it won't work, as you've just seen. So there you go. So I've got the debuff there. Nature damage inflicted every second, Venomhide poison, and you can see it came up with the little marker to tell me that I'd achieved one of the quest objectives. So once he's poisoned you, you can just go ahead and kill him. Easier said than done with no weapons. Oh, he's actually poisoned me twice there. That's interesting to know. Okay, so perhaps you can actually get poisoned more than once. So let's try that out on another one. Okay, so here's another one. So we're going to try this theory that you can get hit more than once and get the debuff. So we just go in auto attacking. There's one. We'll just stop attacking him for a second, let it drop off, and start attacking him again. Ah, there you go, got it again. So we'll stop attacking him. Saves us going around looking for them. Although I have just noticed there's another one there, so we'll get him if we can. Okay, so that's dropped off, so then we'll auto attack him again. Okay, so we've just finished that, and a little discovery is that obviously once you get the poison, it counts upon being inflicted on you. So once you get it, you don't have to wait the 7 seconds if you can just dispel it, which just means you can start punching away at the thing to get another one. So that was relatively quick. Maybe just round up 2 or 3 of them so that you can take turns punching different ones, just so you don't kill it before you're done. So we return the quest to this guy. Complete quest. He asks you to bring him 4 Venomhide Ravasor eggs. Right, okay, this is what they look like. So it's just a little green egg surrounded by a couple of raptors. So there we go. There's one. So I'll just jump through now, getting all 4 of them, and get on to the next quest. Okay, so here we are, handing this quest in, and now he will, right, what he does in this quest is now he gives you a pet, and this pet stays in your bag, and what you have to do is you have to come to the Ungoro crater and open up the little pet, which you don't know if you can see him there. He's just running around. He's green in a green background, so that's not the best. You click on him and he will give you a daily quest. 5 pieces of searing rock plumage. So it's various quests that involve just killing random mobs around on Guru Crater, and on completion of that quest he will give you a venom hide baby tooth, and you need, let's just have a little look. Okay, so in total you need 20 of these teeth, plus 20 rune cloth and 20 leather and 80 gold. So it's going to take you at least 20 days to complete this quest, but it's worth doing because once you do it, and the other materials are pretty easy to get hold of, you come back to this guy, hand in the quest, and he will give you a mount that looks like this. I think it's actually supposed to be this pet that grows into your mount, so as you do the quest you'll see him, he'll get slightly bigger each time you hand in the quest. So yeah, that's it guys, nothing too complicated there. Okay guys, so we're back in Orgrimmar now, and we are looking at a couple of the last mounts for this section of the guide. This one requires you to be in a level 25 guild and to have your reputation as exalted, and I think your guild has to have unlocked the actual mount itself, but the mount we're looking at is this one here, which is a scorpion, and they're sold by this guy here. I don't actually have it on this character, but speak to this guy here and he will sell you one of these, which is a nice little scorpion mount. I think it's only about 1,000 gold, something like that. It's the real hard part is getting your exalted reputation with a guild, but if you've been in a guild for a long time, you're probably exalted anyway, so not too much of a problem. The other two I just wanted to mention, or actually there's more than two, are, I know I said I wasn't going to cover mounts obtained through professions because they're very unique to whether or not you have that profession. However, there are a few which you can buy regardless of whether you have that profession or not. 2 of them are from engineering. So one of them is the Meccano Hog. There's the Mech Engineers Hog or something like that it's called for the Alliance, which is a 2-person bike, which is pretty cool, ground mount. And the other one is called the Sky Golem, and that's pretty snazzy little robot mount. Both of these can be bought on the auction house, or if you've got a friend who's an engineer, they're around about 15,000 gold, depending on what server you are on and stuff like that, and how good a friend you are with the engineer. So yeah, so that's 2. Other ones I just wanted to mention that I don't actually have, however I will post a little picture of them in a second, is the Jeweled Panthers, which I've just seen a guy on here. You can get those through jewel crafting. They're very expensive, and I'll confirm, but I think there's 4 rare mounts and then 1 epic one, which you get from combining the 4 or something like that. So I'll post a picture of those and just a brief confirmation that that's right. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention them because they are obtainable regardless of whether you have the profession or not. And I think that wraps it up for this section of the guide, so we'll see you in part 2 for the Burning Crusade.